Sir, we are live.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to yet another episode of Dekho Apna Desh, hosted by Ministry of Tourism. We have had around more than 150 episodes now, and every week we are moving ahead with something new and something untold story and something it is not known to the people. We are trying to bring to the people so that much more tourism can grow. So to discuss and know much about this, we are having today with us Kuldeep Singh Kelkar. To the industry. He is president of Hotel and Restaurant Association of Rajasthan. He has hotels also. He has restaurants, and of course, he is well known in the tourism industry. We don't need to let him express much, but everybody knows him in the industry, especially in Rajasthan, because Rajasthan is the state who has given the very good impetus to the tourism. It has a history, it has a culture. When we refer about the villages of India, we will refer about the villages of Rajasthan. So something marvelous to showcase, to show to the each and every person of India, and of course to the international tourists. So we had few episodes earlier also about the Rajasthan, but we have much more to explore in Rajasthan. Rajasthan is going to give us lot of history, lot of culture, lot of monuments, this Rajwarat and other things, even the war history, and there are many more things that is associated with the Rajasthan. So we will know much more about Rajasthan. So with us we have Mr. Kuldeep Singh. So he will explain much more and let us listen him. Over to you.
Namaskar, everyone. Such an honor and pleasure to be here to talk about our land of Rajasthan. It is such a fabulous place, Rajasthan, which offers every kind of tourism. Rajasthan has got everything here except the snow. And Rajasthan is quite an explored in tourism sector, but there are few places which are not yet known in the tourism industry. My subject today is tourism without history and history with tourism. It's very, very important because I've realized over the years, whenever I'm talking to the youth traveling to some place, they book their ticket, they book their hotel, they go, they enjoy, they party, they come back without knowing the history, the geography of that area. There are many who go to the beaches to enjoy. That's a part of tourism, yes, but there's not a part of tourism where there's no history. There's a You need to have some history also about the place, about the geography. You must know about the culinary art of that area, the rituals, the traditions, and all. These are very, very essential part of tourism, which are to be taught to our youth now, to the new generation coming up, and they will take tourism to different heights from where they will be able to show the world the tourism, what tourism in Rajasthan and Rajasthan in India is. Many people they go on holidays, for example, to Kedarnath, Badrinath. There's a big trend these days. People are rushing there, but how many know that what mountains are these? People go to Shimla, they only talk of Himalayas, but do they know that these are Mount Shivaliks or Nilgiris or Himalayas or Aravali? Not many people know about the mountains of Aravali, which crosses the entire part of Rajasthan, huge part of Rajasthan. We have got desert here, we have got lakes here, we have got a place called Banswara in south of Rajasthan, which is known for 100 islands. Now, how many people know about it? So we are also requesting our government to push these new destinations where we can take the tourism now, because tourism is growing, and the growth of tourism in India will touch, I think, to the top in the global tourism market also. And for that, we have to have new destinations, new projects, and new hotels, new infrastructures. The development is much, much required for the coming years. Therefore, it is utmost important that we must teach our youth about the history and tourism with history and tourism without history also. So tourism without history, they will know through their Google app now. They'll just book the flight and go to Goa or any beaches, have fun and come back. But they must visit the places which our ancestors built. And our ancestors, they fought for their motherland, they protected their motherland from the Arab invaders, and they could protect those forts and palaces which are there in Rajasthan and other parts of the country also to visit. So whenever our youth is visiting these places, they must know about the history, which Maharana built what, or which Maharaja built which palace, and why he built that. Many palaces have the reasons also why they built it. Like Sajangarh Palace in Udaipur, if you see, that's the palace where during monsoon time, the Mahana used to go there to enjoy the monsoon, and also if there are floods, they can be protected there. Lake Palace Udaipur was built by Maharana Jagatsinji II in 1743. Now this palace was built for the summer as a summer palace. Now it is run as a very popular hotel and run by Taj Group of Hotels. So there are many places like this. But in history, when we go, the Mewar kingdom, if we talk of one part of Rajasthan, that is Mewar, and in history, Mewar has got very important place. If we remove Mewar from the history, there is no history in the country left. So Mewar is the most important part of our history, and therefore I must talk about Mewar. The first ruler of Mewar was Bapa Raval. In 734, he established the kingdom in Mewar, built Eklinji temple, and he was a great warrior. Now, Maharaja Bapa Raval's kingdom was spread right from Mewar to the borders of Iran. The Arab invaders, when they came, he fought against them and he chased them and he pushed them beyond Iran. So just imagine the Mewar kingdom was not only Udaipur or nearby Chittor and all, but right from there to Iran, completing today's Pakistan and Afghanistan. So you can imagine the history of the great ruler Maharaja Bapa Raval, who could fight, and for 400 years, no Arab invader had the guts to come towards Rajasthan again to attack, because he had placed his military post every 100 kilometers with soldiers there, and they would guard the land which he had conquered. Therefore, it is very, very important to know the history of Mewar. Bapa Raval had proved his military statesmanship on a vast geographical area deep into Central Asia as well. His successful military expedition into Sindh, Baluchistan, Ghazni, Kandahar, Khorasan, Turan, Isfahan, and in Iran established him as one of the greatest king of contemporary world political map. Now, how many of us know this? He was a great ruler, but the modern time historians have changed the history. Such kind of valuable part of history were removed from the history or were not talked by the historians. And this is the time that we must talk and we must teach our youth what Bapa Raval did, how great warrior he was. Now, when I'm talking of a king, I'm talking of the tourism. Now, tourism, Bapa Raval established Eklinji temple in 1734. Now, that's the temple is today is the complex of 108 temples. People visit temples, tourists go there. It is managed by the Royal House of Udaipur, and it is beautifully managed. Therefore, people should go there. Behind the Eklinji temple, there is a lake, Indar Sagar, and just before Eklinji temple, there is a Sas Bahu temple, which are very popularly known of the 8th century at the village called Nagda. The lake is there. So these temples are worth visit. And close to 5 minutes drive from Eklinji temple in the mountains, there's a place where Bapa Raval's Samadhi is there. So when he died, he said that his cremation took place there, and there's a temple there. Now, how many people go to this place? People must go there. The tour operators should take the tourists there. The guide should take the tourists there and highlight these places, because these are very, very important places, and these are very, very important. I must say that the foundation, the first stones of foundation of our history, of the rulers of Rajasthan. Therefore, it is very, very important, and I must emphasize that we must visit such places where we can take tourists and we can highlight these places with the history. Bapa Raval, the first ruler of Mewar who established the first page of history. And that continued with every ruler. Every Maharana of Mewar contributed in the history of India. Then came, for example, Raval Ratan Singh Ji, whose wife was the most beautiful Maharani, the Rani Padmini. Alauddin Khilji came there. He kept the Chittor fort surrounded for 6 months. He fought the battle, but he was allowed to see the reflection of Maharani as per the historians. So he saw the reflection and he wanted to marry her. So as per our tradition and gesture, Maharana Ratan Singh Ji, Maharaja Ratan Singh went outside the gate to see him off, and he was caught there and taken to Delhi. And the soldiers of Mewar then went to Delhi and fought there and liberated him, and he came back. But by then, Maharani Padmini had burst into fire, and that's called Johar. Now, Johar and Sati are two great traditions we had here, where thousands of the ladies jumped into the fire and they refused to go into the Mughal camp. They preferred to finish themselves and be with the Almighty, the God, and rather than going to the Mughal or invaders' camps. And this kind of sacrifices our ladies did, our Maharanis and our ancestors did, should be highlighted. People should talk about it. Therefore, I must say that the Johar took place in Chittorgarh not only once but 3 times. In Fort of Jaisalmer also it took place. Therefore, the tour guides must talk about it, the tour operators must talk about it, and people should be told to visit these places. That will be tourism with history. Maharana Kumbha, when we talk of Mewar in the 15th century, what a rural king he was. He was a great warrior, a historian, a writer, an architect, and during his time, he had built fort of Kumbalgarh. Now, Kumbalgarh fort has got a wall which is 36 kilometers long. And that is the second longest wall in the world after wall of China. These days, tourism is coming up there and many people are coming there to visit. A lot of hotels have come up around Kumbalgarh. Now, that's a place which was built by Maharana Kumbha, and he was killed there. And his palace is there, his temples are there. There are almost 100 temples there in Kumbalgarh fort which can be visited. And during his time, the famous temple of Ranakpur also was built by Jains, and there's the world famous Jain temple there. The architecture of the temple is worth a visit. People go there and they want to go again and again there. So beautifully built. Maharana Kumbha was a great musician also, and in his memory, even the Kumbha Sangeet Samaroh still continues in Chittor and in Udaipur and all. So these Maharanas who contributed to the history, to the art, to the culture, to the construction, the architecture, they should be talked about and people should know more and more about them. Then the great warrior Maharana Sangha comes, the Maharana Sangha who fought against Babur and who fought against Lodhis also. He lost his one eye, one hand, one leg in the battlefield. He had 84 wounds and he continued fighting. Now, how many examples you find in the world like this? And Maharana Sangha had 4 sons. If you have heard the story of Panna Dhai and Uday Singh Ji was his 4th son. And Uday Singh Ji was when he was small prince, young prince. That time Banvir, the one who attacked Chittor, he wanted to kill Maharana Uday Singh. Then Panna Dhai had put her own son, Chandan, on the court of Uday Singh Ji where he could sleep, and Uday Singh Ji was shifted from Chittor and was taken to Kumbalgarh. Now, how many examples we have that a mother allowed her own son to be slain and to be killed by the enemies to save the master? Very few, I think, is the only example we have. And that's why Ma Panna Dhai is highly worshipped, and her statue was just unveiled at Gordon Vilas Lake in Udaipur, near Udaipur. So therefore, it is very, very important to know about Maharana Sangha, then Maharana Uday Singh, who was a great warrior himself, then his son, the one who taught us a lesson, the word called independence, Maharana Pratap. All his life, He fought against Mughals, against Akbar, to keep Mewar out of the hands of Mughals. Now, Mewar kingdom, which was from Mewar to Iran, gradually shrank and came into Mewar only, because the invaders, they were very strong then, and they came and they attacked. They took Afghanistan, they took Punjab part of India, and then Mewar was safe because of Mahana Pratap. And Mahana Pratap all his life fought to protect Mewar. Now, the battles Mahana Pratap fought were famous battles of 1576 at Haldigati. Now, Haldigati is known in the history, but not many people know about Diver. In Diver in 1582, Mahana Pratap fought his decisive battle. And during that battle, Mahana Pratap had killed the Mughal commander Behlol Khan, right from his head to his body to the horse. And with that fear, 36 thanas of the Mughals got emptied very same day when Mahana Pratap won that battlefield. That was on a Vijaya Dashmi. And that is celebrated in that area locally. But we must highlight these places in tourism so that more and more tourists can come there, can understand the history, the sacrifices, the bravery of our rulers, and should take good memory of these places and the energy they will get from these places, because these are the places where they fought for the freedom, for their motherland, and these places are to be worshipped in a way. Mahana Pratap was a great warrior. We talk about him everywhere, and he is the one who sacrificed his palaces and all, lived in forest all his life. His son was equally brave, Maharana Amar Singh Ji. And during Maharana Amar Singh Ji, the construction at Udaipur also started for some time. The Badi Pole of Udaipur was built by Maharana Amar Singh Ji. Now, Amar Singh Ji was a great warrior. He fought many battles, probably more battles than Mahana Pratap, because he had to liberate all other small and big forts which were captured by the Mughals, and he continued all through his life. Then his son Maharana Karan Singh Ji was another great ruler of Mewar. In his time, he had a treaty with Shah Jahan, and Shah Jahan and him became turban exchange brother, Pagdi Badal Bhai we call, and that was the peace time for Mewar. But Mewar Maharanas never went to pay their tribute or respects in the Mughal Darbar. They stayed in Udaipur. But in the peacetime, then the construction started in Jaipur, and the city palace of Jaipur got a shape then, and the Badi Mahal was built, the other parts of the palaces were built. So gradually the palace of Udaipur also took 400 years to complete by 24 Maharanas. Because nothing was built in one day. They were fighting all their lives. Whenever they got little time, they would devote that time for the people of Mewar, for the construction and all of palace or the temples and all. So most of the temples were built that time only. And Maharana Jagat Singh first was a great Maharana of Mewar. He was a very religious Maharana who would go to Jagannath Puri. And Jagannath Puri and Udaipur is a huge distance. And 7 times he went there. Each time he came, he did the Tuladan. And when he got old, he could not go. So it is said that the Lord Jagannath came into his dreams and he said, "You build my temple here and I'll come and stay here with you." So then Maharana Jagat Singh first built the temple of Jagdish in Udaipur. In 1651-52, it was completed. And Maharana used to visit that temple every day. And that is a center of devotion for people of Mewar and other tourists coming there. And that is also a center of tourism where whoever comes to Udaipur visits city palace and then comes to Jagdish Mandir, Jagdish temple. It is pathetic that there are a lot of trees growing around the temple now, and we are pushing Devasthan Vibhag and archaeology to do something. The administration of Udaipur has taken it up now, and soon the temple will come into its original shape and things will improve. So what I'm trying to say here that our Maharanas built palaces, temples and all. It is our duty now to keep them in an intact condition, a good condition, where tourists can come and enjoy. People should not be allowed to do encroachment and build houses on the walls of the temples or the palaces and all. They should be kept away, and the original shape should be maintained. Like recently we got the corridor at Kashi Vishwanath done. Now the beautification of Kashi Vishwanath is attracting hundreds and thousands of tourists every day. And just imagine when we have got our monuments, our places in right conditions, people will come, how much employment it will give, how much revenue it will give. When one tourist comes to India, he gives employment to 39 people. So it is very important those 39 families should be given employment, and it is only possible by keeping tourism in good health. And tourism in good health is very important and we can only keep tourism in good health when we understand the history of all our kings, all our people who did contributed for the development of the areas, building temples, building mosques, building palaces. It is very, very important for us also to keep our lakes clean. Udaipur is the city of lakes. One part of the lake will be clean, one part is not that clean. So it is our duty, people's duty also to make sure that we must clean our lakes. We must clean. Like Udaipur is very fortunate to have so many lakes around. Also, within the city there are lakes, but around Asia's biggest lakes we have there, like Jaisamand, which is hardly 50 kilometers from Udaipur, built by Maharana Jaisinji. Now, Jaisinji was the son of Mahana Rasinji. Rasinji had built Rasamand Lake. Now, Rasamand Lake, which he built, which was used during the Second World War also, the aeroplanes used to land there on the lake. And the postal service from Karachi to Bombay was through Rasamand Lake. How many people know that? Rasamand is also known for Dwarkadish temple there. So Mewar has got Char Dham, four centers where we have got Eklinji temple, we have got Nathadwara temple, Shinaji temple, then we have Dwarkadish temple at Kankroli, Rasamand, and then we have got Charbhuja temple. Now these four sites are very, very important religious sites. And a lot of celebrations happen there, a lot of festivals are celebrated there, and people do come there. So we have got domestic tourism coming there. Whoever come on a pilgrimage, that's our domestic tourism. But whoever comes from foreign country, inbound tourism, that is also equally important. Now that due to COVID, we have suffered tremendously, that our tourism has suffered so badly that revival has become a question because we are still surviving. Survival was a big question after 2 years of hit of COVID. Now gradually the things are shaping up and we are thankful to our
Excuse me, sir. So you are, yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So soon we should have our inbound tourism coming, and foreign tourists will come. For that, in month of April, we are having a Great India Travel Bazaar with the help of Government of India Tourism Department, and where we are inviting foreign tour operators to come here and to see that after COVID things have changed and we are having our tourism back on the track, and lakhs and lakhs of domestic tourism is coming. Therefore, when people are feeling safe, foreign tourists should also come up. So I'll come back to the history. Then Maharana Rasinji, who was a great warrior, he fought against Aurangzeb. Now, how many people know that Maharana Rasingh of Mewar captured Aurangzeb? Aurangzeb was prisoned there. Now, how many historians write that? Nobody. So these things should be highlighted. Maharana Rasinji was a great warrior of his time, and the Jagdish temple, which was built by Maharana Gangasinji, was attacked by Mughals that time during Maharana Rasingh's time. And the few warriors who were there, they fought against those Mughal invaders and they killed them there and they protected the temple. Maharana Raj Singh was a great ruler of his time. He was also an art lover, and during his time, the artist got shelter in Mewar, and the Mewar art took new heights there, and historians also. So we have to work on these things. We have to know that who built what was the contribution of the rulers, because many historians today, they try to bring down the royal families and the Rajput culture and Rajput families. But the Rajputs and the royal families had great contribution in the history of India. And after the independence also, during independence, they surrendered everything to the government of India. They gave away their things and the India was formed. So their contribution should not be ignored. Maharana Fateh Singh Ji of Mewar was another great ruler of his time. He had built few palaces like Sajangarh Palace, the Monsoon Palace I spoke in the beginning, was built by him. He was a visionary king also. Though it is said that he was not very well educated, but his natural intelligence was great, and he could keep Mewar he could keep Mewar united. And he was the one in 1911 and in 1927 in two Delhi Darbar during Lord Irwin and during the visit of the King of England. He refused to go to Delhi to present himself in Delhi Darbar because Mewar was always independent. It's very, very important to know for the youth of India that Mewar never surrendered in front of Mughals or Arab invaders, and Mewar never surrendered in front of the Britishers also. They were friends later on, but never surrendered them. And therefore, when he could not go to Delhi in 1911, when the King of England, the Queen of England had asked him to come there, on their request, he went up to Delhi, but only up to station. Very important to know this, that he went up to a station, Old Delhi station, and his train came back to Udaipur. He did not go in Delhi city and not in the Darbar also. He just went to Delhi to honor the invitation because the Queen of England had invited him. Now, important to know that there was a Kabir with him from Charan family. There are very respected families in Mewar. And the Kabir had said to Maharana that Mala ju milya mahib nagar Dilli doidan. Fair fair atke firang meru fato Maharan. Means माला जो जब माला हम करते हैं, जो उसके जो दो बीड्स मिलते हैं आपस में, मेर तो माला जू मिलिया महिब, जैसे माला में दो बीड्स मिलते हैं वैसे दो महिब, महिब मतलब राजा, दो राजा मिले, इंग्लैंड का राजा और मेवाड़ का राजा. माला जू मिलिया महिब नगर दिल्ली दो दान, दिल्ली की नगरी में दो बार मिले, 1911 एंड 1927. फेर फेर अटके फिरंग मेरू फतेह महाराण, मतलब महाराणा जो है वो घूम फिर के और वापस आ गए, बट वहां अंदर नहीं गए. ये कितना बड़ा करेक्टर शो करता है किसी भी राजा का कि वो इतना फियरलेस है, उसको कोई डर नहीं है क्योंकि उसकी जनता उसके साथ है, उसका ईश्वर उसके साथ है, ये ईश्वर भक्ति में रहते हैं. इसलिए मेवाड़ ही एक किंगडम है पूरे वर्ल्ड में जो अपने आप को किंग नहीं मानता, राजा नहीं मानता. वो वहाँ का जो देवता है, ईश्वर है, जो महादेव का मंदिर है एकलिंग जी का, वो एकलिंग जी को मेवाड़ का राजा मानते हैं और अपने आप को मेवाड़ का दीवान मानते हैं, एकलिंग जी का दीवान मानते हैं, इसलिए उनको दीवान बोला जाता है. ये बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है. इसीलिए मेवाड़ के महाराणाओं ने जो भी मेवाड़ की रक्षा करी है वो महादेव की रक्षा के आज्ञा से करी है और महादेव का उनके ऊपर पूरा आशीर्वाद था. इसलिए मेवाड़ ने अपने आप को इतिहास में जीवित रखा, जागृत रखा. और आज भी आप देख लीजिए कि मेवाड़ में जब टूरिज्म शुरू हुआ राजस्थान में, तो पहली होटल जो थी वो उदयपुर में शुरू हुई, लेक पैलेस, और रामबाग पैलेस जयपुर में हुई. और जयपुर, उदयपुर, जोधपुर, जैसलमेर, बीकानेर, इन सब राज परिवारों का बहुत बड़ा योगदान है टूरिज्म के अंदर. दे रियली कंट्रीब्यूटेड अ लॉट फॉर टूरिज्म एंड वी मस्ट रिमेंबर देयर कंट्रीब्यूशन आल्सो. Jaipur family built many palaces here. Maharaja Man Singh Ji was a great warrior of his time, and it is said that Afghanistan was never conquered by anybody, but I must tell everybody that it is an illusion for today's learners and fake historians who coined a thought that Afghani were warriors and not defeated. But the fact scores of Indian kings from Bapa Raval Ji, King Lalitaditya, Maharaja Man Singh first of Amber, and Sardar Hari Singh Nalwa, and Army General of Great Ranjit Singh Ji defeated, subjugated, and ruled this Ghazni for quite a long period. Not many know about it. We must tell people that Afghanistan, where Americans and Russians failed, we conquered Afghanistan. Not once, but many, many a times. And that is why Indian history is very important with tourism, and tourism with history is very, very important. I'll show you some images with you. I'll share some images with you which are very, very important also later on. Colonel Todd, a writer, had come from England and he visited Rajputana. When he visited Rajputana, that was the time of Maharana Bhim Singh Ji in Mewar. He wrote history of Mewar that time. Maharana Bhupal Singh Ji was another great ruler of Mewar who died in 1955. He brought education to Mewar. He built education centers in Mewar, which was very, very important for the region to get educated. And that is why from Mewar we got very good politicians and administrators who could serve after independence with the government of Rajasthan and government of India. Not only in the tourism, in sports also that got great contribution. We are talking of cricket today. Maharana Kumbha of Mewar, he was a great cricket lover. And in his palace, all the great players of that time used to come and stay there and they used to practice there. Be it the great Salim Durrani ji or Pali Umrigar ji or Manjrekar ji, they all were there in his team. And Raj Singh ji, Dungarpur, they all played cricket there. And Maharana used to finance cricket teams to go abroad like Sir Pato, Senior Patodi did. And their contribution should be remembered with the sports and with the history, with the culture, with the art, culinary art. Now, culinary art of Rajasthan is very popular. The Mewar culinary art is very, very popular. And there are many families, especially I will mention family like Bedla. Their kitchen is like a laboratory. And in that laboratory, they used to prepare new dishes and that were served. Even the cooks in Bedla family were very, very good. And they really set an example of the culinary art of the era. The present family of Bedla, Thakur Vijay Singh ji and his son, they are doing a great work in culinary art field. So these contributions should be remembered and should not be forgotten. We go to Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Bikaner, each region has got their local dishes, their culinary dishes there. And these dishes should be taught to people. And there are some families, they have started home dining and all. That is also serving tourism a lot. So this is again a history with tourism because when they go and visit the family talks about the history. When they talk about the history, they talk about the region, their ancestors, they take out the old photographs, show them, talk to them. And many families were known also in Rajasthan for preparing alcohol, also certain very good quality of alcohol. And that alcohol even is adopted by the state government of Rajasthan and Ganganagar sugar mills, and they have come out with heritage liquor. Heritage liquor again with heritage cuisine. Just imagine a foreigner coming and enjoying heritage liquor here, which is very, very popular. And some families like Mansar or Kanota are known for their heritage liquor collections and all. So they have the recipes which they give to government, and government produce those liquors, and they are served to people, and it's available in the market also. Very important for tour guides, tour operators, hoteliers who are connected with the tourism to understand and to know our culture, our heritage, and what all we can contribute now. There's nothing great that we have done in tourism so far. Whatever we have done, we are just following the footsteps of our ancestors, what they did, what they taught us, and what they left behind us. But are we really taking care of our heritage? That is very, very important. Are we really admiring the job done by our ancestors, our families, our great-grandfathers? That is very, very important. Are we thankful to them? Are we grateful to them? This is very, very important. If we are grateful and thankful to them, the new generation will understand what is the importance of being thankful and grateful. We should not forget their contribution. Whatever we are today, it is because of them. वो एक ऐसा वट वृक्ष लगा के गए हैं जिसकी छाया में हम सब पल रहे हैं. हमने कुछ नहीं किया, हमको उसकी शाखाएं नहीं काटनी है, डालियां नहीं काटनी है, हमको उसकी डालियों को आगे से आगे बढ़ने देना है, जड़ों को आगे आगे से बढ़ने देना है, so that in coming generations, 100 years, 200 years, 1000 years, our children should know, our descendants should know what our ancestors did, and we must do something that they should also be proud of us and they should remember us. This is very, very important for us. Here are some images I have selected and I'll share with you. Now, here is the photograph I'm showing you is of Bapa Raval. Now, look at the painting of Bapa Raval here. There is Harit Rishi on the plane, a small Viman, we call it, aircraft, you can say, is there in the sky. There's the Ma Durga, there's a cow there, and there's a small shivling, and there is Bapa Raval. Bapa Raval, when he came to Mewar, he was growing with the in a Brahmin family for some time, and he used to take the cows to gaze them around the lake. You can see a lot of cows near the lake there. But one cow was always missing there, and this particular cow, when would come home in the evening, will not give milk there. So everybody started blaming Bapa Raval that you must be drinking milk on the way. So one fine morning he went to look for that cow, and he saw that the cow was standing near the shivling, and the milk was dropping automatically on shivling. And there was a sage there, a sadhu there doing tapasya, and he was Harit Rishi. So Bapa Raval was so impressed that he started worshipping Shiva, and he started coming there with flowers and fruits, and he started giving service to Harit Rishi. Now Harit Rishi, when he was leaving one fine day to the heavenly abode, he told Bapa, tomorrow morning you come early, I want to give you something. So he came, he reached late, and his Vimana had taken off. So from sky then he spit, and that had fallen down on his right foot. He said, if you had taken it in your mouth, you could be long-lived Maharana, Amar Maharana ho jate, Raja ho jate. Then if you had taken in your hands, your kingdom would have been vast. But it has fallen down on your right foot. I bless you that your dynasty will be very long and they will always be here. And ladies and gentlemen, you will be surprised to know 734 this scene is. And even today, after 1500 years, the family is there, family is ruling Mewar. Very rare example in the history of the world. This is the oldest dynasty which is ruling there. Now, he is Bapa Raval, who pushed Arabs from Mewar to present Pakistan, to Afghanistan, and right up to Iran. Just imagine the foresightness, the bravery, and the strength he had of his people, of his army. He is the one who captured then Chittor, and he made Chittor as the capital. So Udaipur was the third capital of Mewar state. The first was Nagda, from this painting where it is. 6th to 8th century, 8th to 16th century was Chittor as the capital, and 16th century to 1559 to 1947, Udaipur was the capital. It is very important to know for Bapa Raval that he was in Afghanistan, he was in Iran, and then he ruled Mewar. And every 100 kilometers he left the post. And look at this map now, from Mewar to Iran. This was the map of Mewar once upon a time. How many do you know? And look and see the countries adjacent to it. Tajikistan and Balochistan, no, not Balochistan, but Oman and all you can see here. Now here is great Maharana Pratap, the great warrior, Prata Smaraniya. Whatever he did in life, everybody knows. He is the one who taught us the word freedom, independence. So he was our first hero of independence for the country. Now this is the battlefield of Diver I was talking to you in 1582, the decisive battle of Mewar, where Maharana Pratap had killed Behlol Khan. In one shot, you can see from his helmet to body and the horse. Now look at the faces of the Mughal soldiers here, how fearful they are now. And after this battle, the Mughals almost left the bigger part of Mewar and went away from there. And then Maharana's son Amar Singh continued the fights, and he got Mewar liberated from Mughals, the rest of the Mewar. That's Maharana Pratap with his enemy Akbar then. Now this is the place where the decisive battle of Diver took place. Now this is the whole area of Diver in Aravali range. And this is a monument built by the Department of Tourism and the local authorities. And statue of Maharana Pratap has been put right on the top. It's a place, it's a pilgrimage. One must visit this. And close to this place, we have got Devgarh, and people can go and stay there. There's a nice palace which is now converted into hotel, a heritage hotel, and there's a new property which has come up also, Shivilas, and very nice hotels there. So you can visit, and also you can go into the mountains. There are safaris there you can do. Now this is the valley of Diver area where the battle took place. It's Maharana Pratap. The Battle of Diver is very popular now. We are talking about it a lot. Books have come up on Diver, and Dr. Ramendra Ratnu has worked very hard on it, and also Narayanji Upadhyay, and he's local from Diver area. Now this is the palace, famous palace of Rani Padmini at Chittor, where when Alauddin Khilji had come to Chittor to see her, so he was not allowed. He was in another palace across the lake, and it is believed that Rani Padmini had come on the steps of the palace near the water, and a reflection was seen through the water. This is the famous Chittor Killa, and the Vijay Stamb was built by the tower built by Maharana Kumbha when he won the battle over the Sultan of Gujarat. Now this tank there is very religious holy tank, and there's a Gaumukh there from where the water falls continuously. So this is called Gaumukh tank, and you can see, you can notice there are a lot of temples here around. Many are broken, and many are in good shape. So in Chittor Fort itself, there are a lot of temples. It's a huge fort. It's 5 kilometers long and 3 kilometers wide. So you can imagine and it's on a huge height, almost 300 feet from the road. So you can imagine how beautiful it must be, and it is. This is again the palace of Rani Padmini. Now this is Kumbha Palace in Chittorgarh, where Maharana Kumbha lived. Rana Kumbha. Built by Maharana Kumbha again. Now this is the palace in Kumbalgarh. Now all the walls you can see, the length of the wall here of the fort is 36 kilometers, second largest wall after China. And the palace on the top looks a little modern kind. This is the new palace. It was built by Maharana Fateh Singh Ji in 1925. But the fort itself was of 15th century of Rana Kumbha in 1433. Now look at the site of Kumbalgarh, how beautiful it is. Now you can match it with any part of the Europe or Switzerland. These are our Aravalli hills. And here you can do a trek down the hill. You can go to Ranakpur temple. You can go to Sadari Dam. You can go to the villages called the Tikanas of Ganerav and all. You can do a lot of trekking around here, and you can drive up to the fort. It's one of the most beautiful forts we have, Kumbalgarh, Fort of Kumbalgarh. The great warrior Maharana Sangha, he lost his one eye, one hand, and a leg in battle. Leg was injured in battlefield. 84 wounds over his body. Never stopped fighting. His one Maharana who died out of Udaipur. He died at Bandikui near Dosa, and his chhatri is there. When he was coming back from the battlefield of Kanwa, he died there, and great warrior of his time. He had 4 sons, and his fourth son was Uday Singh. And his eldest son, Bhojraj, was married to Princess of Medta, Mirabai, if you have heard the name, the great devotee of Lord Krishna. Mirabai was his daughter-in-law. And Mirabai lived in Mewar, but we all know the history that she was not accepted much by the then family because she was totally devoted to Krishna. And then she left Mewar and went to Dwarika. And it is believed that when Maharana Uday Singh, the younger brother of her husband, Devar, when he built Udaipur city, he wanted her to come and do the inauguration of Udaipur. And but she refused to come. And when the Jagirdars went to take her to Udaipur, she sat in the temple of Dwarikadesh, and then her body entered in the statue of Dwarikadesh. It is believed so, and a piece of cloth of sari was hanging out, and from that they could make out that Krishna has accepted her. So that level of bhakti from Mewar is known. So Mewar is not only for battles, but Mewar also gave a lot of bhakts, and the Bhakti Andolan, which was there, the Bhakti period, was also into Mewar, where Mirabai had set an example of Krishna Bhakti. This is a famous Ranakpur Jain temple, which was built during the rule of Maharana Kumbha. And Kumbalgarh is not very far from here also. One of the finest temples of Jain temple we have in Ranakpur. What a beautiful temple it is. There are 1444 pillars in the temple. It was built in the year 1444. How interesting it is. And on each pillar there is a different kind of carving. So each pillar you can see, and it is so beautifully done. There are timings to visit this temple, but you must visit. But if you visit someday there, you must have your lunch also in the Bhojan Shala there. Very pure vegetarian food. There's a very interesting place. There is nothing here, temple and the forest all around. This is again the Victory Tower of Chittorgarh. This is that famous lake palace now, it's called the Jag Nivas, built by Maharana Jagat Singh II in 1743. Now this palace is now one of the world's best hotels, Lake Palace, managed and run by Taj. It belongs to the royal family of Mewar. The lake itself is so beautiful, it's called Pichola Lake. Lake Pichola is the lifeline of Udaipur. Look at this palace now. How many beautiful palaces like this you find? And the mountain at the back is now with the Indian Army, and this is called Baki Ka Magra. And behind the mountains also we have got a lot of lakes and dams now, from where the water comes into Lake Pichola. Is the present ruler of Jaipur, Maharaja Savai Padmanabh Singh Ji. This is the photograph of his puja he's doing on Dashera. On Dashera, he does puja of horses and elephants and all. So here he's preparing for the puja. Young Maharaja, a great polo player, is now representing India into the World Cup for polo. And in South Africa, he's there playing polo now, and we wish him all the best for the World Cup. City Palace of Jaipur. Now, most interesting part of the City Palace is the flag on the top. There's a flag with 5 colors. When Maharaja Man Singh first conquered Afghanistan, the 5 regions of Afghanistan, he brought 5 colors, 5 flags of Afghanistan, and Emperor Akbar gave all the colors to him, and with that he built his flag. Now this big flag is representing Jaipur, and top of the big flag there's a small flag, quarter of it, because the Maharaja of Jaipur has got a title of Savai, and the small part is the Savaya part we have. So whenever the Maharaja is in Jaipur, the big flag and the small flag is put on the top, and when Maharaja is out of Jaipur, the small flag is removed, only the big flag is there. Chandra Mahal Palace, City Palace of Jaipur. Now this place is highly visited by tourists, and also it is popularly known for the destination weddings also. Famous Hawa Mahal, which was built by Maharaja Savai Pratap Singh Ji of Jaipur as the More Mukut. Beautiful palace. We have the Wind Palace. Famous fort of Amir Kila. This fort since 16th century has seen a lot of ups and downs in the pages of history. In the evening now, we have got very nice sound and light program there. And there are 2 things important for Jaipur, that this is the only fort in the world where you can go on the back of the elephant. An elephant takes you right up to the top of the fort to visit the fort. And second thing in Jaipur, that now we have got leopard safari, Jalana in Jaipur. So the only city in the world where you have got a leopard safari right in the center of the city. This is again Amber Fort, the Ganesh pole. And this is the main entrance to the palace. Inside there is a Ganesh painting on the top. And the Jarokha, which you see right in the center, that's called a Suhag Mandir. So whenever the Maharaja used to come from the war or from the traveling, enter inside, the ladies from the top used to throw rose petals and petals from there, flower petals, to welcome him in the palace, Suhag Mandir. Mehrangarh Fort of Jodhpur, another shades of Rathod Kingdom, very powerful. You can make out the power of the fort by the construction of it, the height of it. This fort also was built, started by Rao Jodha, and then following rulers kept adding their palaces inside, and it's become a beautiful palace, one of the finest museums also today. And the white building near it is Jaswant Thada, the cremation ground of the Senate of the royal family of Jodhpur. Again, Mehrangarh of Jodhpur and the blue city of Jodhpur down. This is another beautiful palace built in 1935 by Maharaja Umed Singh Ji. This palace was built just to give work to people of Jodhpur so they don't flee outside Jaipur. They do Jodhpur, sorry, because that was the time when there was a drought in Jodhpur. So to keep people busy and give them to eat and all, the Maharaja started the construction of this palace. And when it was built, Maharaja decided to move in here, and today it is the residence of the royal family of Jodhpur and also a hotel. Part of it is a hotel which is managed by Taj Group of Hotels. This is the lobby of the Umaid Bhavan Palace inside. This is another famous palace of Jaipur, Rampak Palace, one of the finest hotels of India, and globally known, received many awards worldwide, many times become the world's best hotels. Again managed by Taj, owned by the royal family of Jaipur. This is the courtyard of Rampak Palace. Famous Junagad of Bikaner. This was built by Maharaja Rai Singh in the 16th century again. Very interesting story that Maharaja Rai Singh of Bikaner was one of the 9 jewels of in the court of Akbar. And whenever he was in front of Akbar, he used to keep one side moustache up and one side down. So Akbar asked him, why you keep this? He said, because I am under the reign of Akbar, Mughals, this moustache down is for you, but there's one king who is not under Mughal Empire yet. This is to give him respect, and he is Maharana Pratap. And it is believed that one day Akbar had sent him a fake letter, said the Maharana sent me the letter and he has decided to surrender to me. He said, I can't believe it. So he wrote a letter in Dingle language to Maharana, and he asked him, I've never heard that the sun has started rising from the west, because the Maharana of Mewar are called Hindua Suraj. They are from the Sun dynasty. And so is the Jaipur Sun dynasty, and Maharana of Mewar, Maharana Pratap, wrote him back and he said, don't worry, you keep both your moustache up, because sun always rises from the east and will always rise from the east only. That means I am not surrendering to Mughals, to Akbar. And Maharana Pratap never surrendered. Now this fort has seen also many ups and downs in history. And the famous Maharaja Gangasinji of Bikaner, who died in 1943, his contribution is immense for the modern Bikaner now. All the buildings you will see there were built by him. He was one of the greatest rulers Bikaner or the country ever had, because in a short life of 63 years, he had faced the plague and the pandemic in 1920s. And that time he was a young Maharaja, 18, 19 years. He took the horses and with his few soldiers, and he went in the entire state of Bikaner, villages and all, and he visited every village to keep the morale of people high. It was also like COVID, probably the worse than COVID, because in COVID we have vaccinations and we have got the facilities available. That time there were no facilities, so Maharaja Gangasinji protected his people, and British government was very happy then. And then Bikaner got a lot of rewards for the service. And he is the one Maharaja who always dreamed to have water in the desert, and he brought Gang Canal in 1927. From Punjab, he brought water to Bikaner, to Rajasthan, which is great. And when he was the Maharaja in that area, there were only 50 villages. And when he brought water, the 500 villages were established. And the towns like Hanumangarh and Ganganagar, and they were established and they were flourished. So his contribution was immense, and he was also the chairman of Prince's conferences in Geneva and in England and all, and he represented India into First World War, Second World War and all. Great warrior, great ruler, and great contributor in education and all. He gave one of the biggest contributions financially to Banaras Hindu Vishwavidyalaya, to Madan Mohan Malviya ji, and Panditji had come to Bikaner also. And Panditji Madan Mohan Malviya ji did the puja of Ganga Canal when he brought the water there. Lord Irwin was the Viceroy of India, and he had come to Bikaner for the inauguration of Ganga Canal. So desert kingdom, very little revenue, resources and all, and this Maharaja could do wonders there. So I really salute him and worship him. Great contribution of his time. This is one of his palaces, Lalgarh Palace there. This is one palace he built in near the lake as a Shikargah also for him, where he used to go for hunting, and he used to entertain his guests there, called Gajner Palace, which is around 40-50 kilometers from Bikaner. Very interesting place to visit. Very beautiful hotel now. It's now managed and run by HRH Group of Mewar. Desert of Rajasthan, Thar, Registan. Jaisalmer, the Golden City, Sonar Kila. Look at the beauty of Jaisalmer. A lot to talk about each place. We need days and days to talk about each place. And what a beautiful coincidence with the photo that today we have Purnima, full moon. And this picture is also having a full moon on the top. Royal Cenotaphs of Jaisalmer, the local stone of Jaisalmer, sandstone. So Rajasthan has got a lot to offer. Now we have got Bharatpur area, which is to be visited. The stories of Raja Surajmal, worth listening. He was a great Maharaja who conquered Delhi also, and he established Bharatpur kingdom right up to Delhi. So all these rulers who contributed a lot for the state, and these places are now the tourist sites also. Bharatpur has got palaces, and Lakshmi Vilas Palace is a great hotel there. There are many other hotels have come up there, and so are the museums and monuments there to visit. The Kela Devi bird sanctuary is there. So Rajasthan has got everything. We have got bird sanctuary here. We have got tiger sanctuary, be it in Sariska or be it in Ranthambore, and now in Bundi area we are having one, and there are new sanctuaries coming up at Mukundara. So tourism with history and tourism without history. So I would say that tourism with history is very, very important. So I suggest and request all our visitors, all our youth to work on it, to learn about our history and learn about our tourism. I think my time is getting over, so I must thank you very much, everybody, for listening me. And I thanks, sir, for giving me a chance to speak. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Kuldeep Singh ji. Actually, you told a lot about the history and culture of Rajasthan. Many things, part by part, we were knowing, but you connected all together, and we came to know much in a synchronized way. We were knowing something about Maharana Pratap, but not the much story you told about it and the facts you mentioned in this episode. You connected the ancestral history with the tourism, and that is very important, and that is what Rajasthan is presenting to all the visitors, whether it is domestic or foreigners. And you talk about the art and culture brought out by our ancestral kings and maharajas, and they were really the visionaries. They actually tourism started from that time, because connectivity might be the issue, but the tourism was already growing that time. And they, I have gone through the, you can say, I have studied something like the Maharajas have the very good link with the foreign kingdoms like UK and even other countries. They used to visit and to have the Rolls Royal cars and all. So that all things are connected, and that is how the tourism has grown in Rajasthan. So certainly you connected everything, and a lot of a story like Maharana Rana Sangha and Uday Singh and all. That something we have studied during our school times, but we have not gone much in detail. But you expressed it very well. So as you said, we must preserve and maintain the history and the monuments and whatever the forts and cities they have built, the lakes and palaces. I think that is very difficult to build now. We have to maintain and preserve it for our next generation. You told about the Kumbalgarh. Of course, it is very famous, this fort, because it is having this structure like China, war of China, something like that. So certainly these all structures, these all palaces and these buildings, they have given a very good impetus to the tourism in Rajasthan. And as you mentioned, Rajasthan is also famous for sports like polo and other sports that is very much supported by the kings throughout their history. And certainly we are going to bring it forward for promoting it as a new niche tourism products. So one thing I will just need to know from you, because I don't have much knowledge about this. Mewar and Marwar, are they different region or they are the same?
They are different regions, sir. Mewar is
Okay.
Udaipur side and Marwar is Jodhpur side. Jodhpur is the capital of Marwar.
Yeah. Correct. So we have heard these words like Mewar. We are knowing this, like you mentioned, Diwan of Mewar. That is very interesting because we think everybody is king, but the way he has maintained his uh, kingdom, like he remained the Diwan and given the
Yeah.
kingdom to the Lord. That is the way that our ancestral rulers have done. So, and of course, the story Mirabai, she was the daughter-in-law of that kingdom. So, really, it is very interesting to know things. Very nice. We had a very good informative
Thank you, sir.
session about the Rajasthan, and certainly we will have more and more about this in future. So thank you very much, Kuldeep Singh ji, and all our viewers, our technical team, and everyone who is taking 1 hour of time with us and helping us to grow the tourism. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.